Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Found Purpose. I'm your host, Cortland Fields. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to another edition, second season of Found Purpose. We are back, and I am here with my boy, Kevin Williams. Kevin, introduce yourself.
Hey, everyone. I'm Kevin Williams. I am a case manager in Northern New Jersey, working with at-risk youth for over 30 years now. I'm also a self-proclaimed life coach and a behavioral modifier. So I'm here to help my boy just shine some light on some of the corners and areas of this book.
So this is good. So you are a behavior coach.
Yes.
This is interesting because I wrote this. So a lot of these poems came from junior high school and current.
Interesting.
Because I'm a person that I hate writing because I never knew how to type.
Gotcha.
So I used to always hate going to English class and stuff, but I didn't know I was an emotional writer. So every scrap piece of paper I wrote on or whatever, I used to write and doodle. And I just put it in my book and put it somewhere. And long story short, my mom called me and said, "Hey, come and get this out of my house." And I was like, "What stuff? I don't live there. I haven't been there for like what?"
Gotcha.
And this is during the pandemic. And
right.
As I'm going through it, I had this falcon. I was like, wow.
Right.
I remember when I wrote this. And it brought up a lot of feelings. And I just brought it here and I collectively put them all together. All the stuff that's in here is like, wow. So we arranged it in a way where it could fit 5. So
okay,
that's how it all came out. So you're dealing with from teenage years to current.
Right. It's a broad cross section. It's not just last 2 years.
No.
It's over 30, 40. Okay. Got you. It makes a lot of sense. Yes. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of real stuff that hits home. I read it, I listened to it. Every poem is a different topic, is a different emotion. And as we dive into different poems, as much as we get to cover, I hope the listeners get to understand and reflect and make these poems their own. That kind of thing is so impactful. So, yeah. So when you read it, yes, and you listened to it, was it a difference from what you read to what you heard? Reading it offers you the opportunity to interpret what you're reading based on your beliefs and expectations and just your standard for life, period. When you listen to it now, it takes on a different kind of emotion because you're the audio reader and you hear the emphasis placed in certain places based on the poems, and then you're able to grasp some more of the poetry itself because of the emotions that you share while you're reading the poem. So that's the difference. But both, whether it be the audio or whether it be the hardcover book, the information itself, the documentation of emotions on paper and or hearing it is just so, it's important. And not only that, it goes to show that everyone could be going through this or is going through this, but they now have someone that has voiced it. Shine some light on, here's what that is. I'm sure a lot of people have been in their head and they're like, well, this is what I'm going through, but they haven't really put it down on paper. You have done that. So yeah, what I really observed through reading and listening to the book is just that it shines light on emotions, gritty emotions, and it deals with things that individuals don't want to talk about or face, like difficult conversations or emotions come up in all your poems, very difficult emotions. And I find individuals don't want to deal with that. They kind of just put it to the side. And a lot of your poems, they definitely point to addressing emotions. Don't just stuff them down. Don't put them aside. So it's a healing tool, and as you go through the different ones, each one tends to address a different emotion and a different part of a person's growth and well-being and substantiates who they are. When did you decide to put this all together? It was actually during the pandemic. That's when everybody was like cleaning their house and stuff like that. And right. Stuff. I just started looking at one, looking at two, and I was like, wow. And I remembered one of my homeboys, a couple of my friends was like, you should put this out there because everybody does this. Everybody goes through this. And my group kind of encouraged me like, hey, you should really put that out. I really liked it. And when I heard people like saying they wanted it,
You know what I mean? I was like,
yes, right.
Maybe I'm not the only one going through all this stuff, because at first it wasn't thought to put these poems out.
Right.
My mom was just having me come and get my stuff. But then as I
Right.
looked at everything and going through and dealing with my own emotion during the rehab center, I seen that, hey, I'm always writing. I'm an emotional writer.
Yes.
Because I write my thoughts up, because when you get angry sometimes and you can't lash out, I write.
Got you.
That's how it happens. So
you're absolutely right. Yeah. So you got a revelation through the group that you were going through some things, and that's so selfless of you, because you thought of other people even though you were going through stuff.
When I was in group, you hear people. My thing is, I don't want to be this way. It's like when you have a nervous breakdown, you can't comprehend 2 + 2 is 4. Everything about your whole life, you're second guessing. And it's like, that's what a breakdown is. It broke me down. And I became so unsure of myself. So when I see other people that keep on, look at people like, I don't want to be like this for the rest of my life.
Right.
They're 60, 70 years old. Why are they still angry? So when we had this emotional class, I really dug into my emotions, which kind of caveated to what I was reading. I was like, so now I was able to interpret and understand what I was writing and what I was feeling, because I didn't have a name for it. I was mad. I was scared.
Gotcha.
I was surviving. No one ever talked to me about emotions.
That is one of those moments you had where some of your purposes, being here as an individual in this body, in this world, that's one of the way that manifested. That's just what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
An aha moment where you realize that you expressing yourself the way you do translates to where other people can now mirror and or see themselves in that place, but also through your poetry, it shows how you overcome all the things that might have held you back and took you from that place where you were to know where you are. In your mission statement, you said something about, I can't let the burden of yesterday weigh me down. I want you to elaborate on that.
So I was in group, is actually in Batavia, it's a VA group during the pandemic. And we're taught to like, what is your mission statement? What is your main purpose? What is your mission? Now, mind you, during this time, I'm being let go from the military. So I didn't supposed to retire for 2035. So I had 10 more years.
Right.
I never expected to retire from the military. And it's just happened, I'm at 20 years. I'm like, what is my mission statement? What I want to be? What am I going to do now? I'm still young. I don't feel old. What am I going to do? And that was a lot of stress upon everything else that was going on. Like my mom had a tumor. She's ailing right now. My home being foreclosed on.
Wow.
So all this going on constantly, daily. Now I'm in this losing my job. Life's like the key elements of your life. House, home, job, everything's going like,
yes.
I am losing my freaking mind.
Right.
I'm trying to hold it together. So I thank God for Batavia, because it's like they taught me my emotions and they taught me how to get rid of that anger. I wrote that poem in 2018 because it was an assignment. I had to let go of the burdens. I had to let go of what happened at my job. I can't let them win.
Right.
I can't let them win. If I kill myself, they won.
Got you. Amazing. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. What does resilience mean to you? How do you grasp this resilience thing? What is this resilience you talk about?
They can't see, but you can see my hat. Wow. Resilience is my favorite word.
Really? Oh.
Everything that is happening now extended from me being in Batavia, the program, going to get a mental health check, getting my mental together. So everything I'm saying, it comes from that. Prior to having her, I didn't know none of this. I just knew I was writing. So resilience, as I was sitting there, I never wanted to be a complainer and say, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then sometimes I'd be like, yo, so much shit has happened to me. I don't even believe half of the stuff. Why is everything happening to me? Wow. I will go through it like, oh my gosh, I got hit by a forklift. I got hit by a truck. I was in 5 car accidents in 45 days.
Wow.
Something is always happening to you.
Right.
And it was like, I don't think people believe me anymore because I had a stroke.
Wow.
So in this program, the word resilience keep coming up.
Yes.
And my therapist saying, you're very resilient. You're very She said, I want you to go and tell yourself, I want you to look yourself in the mirror every day and say you're resilient.
Got you. Yeah.
And I knew what resilience means, but I actually went and looked up the word.
The word itself. Okay.
And I was like, I would never quit.
Got you.
So in the first one, It says, I
Yes.
give up.
Yes.
That was in 2005. That's when I actually I wanted to kill myself.
Wow.
Moving forward and life happens.
Yes.
Writing again. It wasn't called resilience, but I'm writing again. And I'm like, let's put 1 and 2 together. Because it was like a second part of me.
Right.
And things started happening. I was like, oh, I am going to do this. I am going to do this. I started manifesting. I started seeing myself in these places. I'm going to be here. This is the life I want to live.
Right.
I need to see it.
Okay.
So if I see it, I could believe it. I'm going to attain it because that's who I am. I see it. And once I saw that, had that vision, I can't be shaken from it because it's like, that's where I'm going. So it's like every time I fall, I have to, because that's my goal. That's my mission.
That's your goal.
I have to get there.
Absolutely.
It sums up my whole life, whatever I'm going to go through from beginning to whenever I die.
That's amazing. Okay. So it clears that up for me.
I want listeners to know that it wasn't easy. And it did take me a long time to do this. It's not like I woke up one day and I said, oh, I have this knowledge. Right. These poems are something that I written a long time ago. And my mom, thank God, she held on to them. This was a lot of pain. This was a lot of hurt. And sometimes we have those repeated cycles that we keep on going through. We're like, why do I keep on going through this? Why do I keep on allowing myself to do this? And for me, luckily, during the pandemic, I had this reference. I keep on doing this. I keep getting hurt this way. Yeah. What is it about me that I need to correct, that I keep on allowing myself to go through this? We want to blame the other person, and it's easy to blame somebody else.
Of course.
But you got to look at yourself, because whoever you're talking to is just a reflection of who you are.
You hit the nail on the head. Yep. So you have one of the poems that says called self-encouragement. Part of the poem says, what went wrong, let go. What went right, hold on to it. Talk about that.
So I'm going to start from when I wrote, because I was doing Smokey Robinson and I was always getting it wrong. And it was like I was mirroring Smokey's life. When you take on a character, it's like you're marrying that person, because you like take on some of their habits. It's like their troubles become your troubles.
Gotcha.
And I always had to encourage myself because I never had support. And when you've been hurt and you've been knocked down so many times, sometimes you got to cheer yourself up.
Right. This is true.
And again, one of those things like, what am I doing wrong? Is it me? I always go to me first before I go to anybody else. Because if I'm okay, then look out, you're in trouble, because it's not me, it's you. And I'm because it's not me.
It's true.
So it's a process that I do. If anything negative in my life, I just let it go. You're letting yourself go, basically, whether it's friendship or whatever, because I'm trying to be true with my heart.
Right.
So it's easy for me to let you go when I know I'm being genuine.
This is true. Yeah.
See, my thing is, people get to know you, but when I come in contact with a person, I get to understand them. I'm not trying to get to know you. I'm understanding your habits, what triggers you, what does not trigger you. I'm understanding you. This way, when you do something, I may not agree with it, but I understand.
Understand it. Do you hear, people? Do you hear this? These poems did not come out of the backyard. No, they came from deep-rooted emotions that are sincere and resonates with humans. So with everything that you're talking about, no lot of it sounds like down and fighting, but there are poems as well that I came across that talked about love and being in love and staying in love and leaving love. And love is the greatest of the emotions. So I just wanted to get your perspective on the love and unconditional love.
Right. I can love anyone.
Yes.
I can say I love you to anybody, and I can really mean it. I love you as a friend. I love my dog. Love is like borderline of caring. Unconditional love. Loving the bad parts of it. That's love. I didn't understand love until I had children.
Wow.
My children made me understand what love is, what love feels like. I heard my mom and dad say it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same because I didn't see it from their perspective.
Right.
But when I had my own children, I would die before I let anything happen to you.
Wow. Yes.
And when you get into a relationship, when somebody loves you unconditionally, know what that is. And the only way you'll know what that is you know how to love yourself unconditionally.
Ah, goodness. Preach. Yes. Amen.
okay, no, I refuse to let anybody take me down. So when you have that love, that person that loves you like that,
yes,
hold on to it. Know what it is. Go discover it. Find
yeah.
yourself. So for me, you can't love me if you can't love yourself, because I need to see how much you love yourself.
Right.
Just the same, because you're doing it for yourself, and that's unconditional love.
Right. Great. Okay. You're strong, centered, and you know where you're going, and fearless. And it's important. It comes across through this book, through these poems. It emphasizes fearlessness. Understand that.
Fearlessness. I wouldn't think it was fearlessness.
At the end, to each of them, it gets to that point where you go through this, or you're striving for this, or you want this, but at the end of the day, you got to the point where you're like, oh, okay, I got God, like you said, on my side. I don't need to fear anything else. Let things just unravel and go. And knowing that I'm going to overcome, it requires, like you've done, going through these things. And fortunately for others, even myself, we won't have to go through all the stuff you've been through, because you've been there and you kind of paved the way. And again, I celebrate and appreciate that. You're sharing this. Yes.
I don't feel like I'm paving the way. I feel like that I'm just making it more relatable to everyone, so we can all understand, because it's like everyone has the same love language. I did an experiment myself. I said, stop being scared to talk to people and talk to people.
Right.
Because you can connect to anybody, because the main ingredient in love language is love. You have to find what it is. And I realized that I could talk to anybody. I could have a conversation with anyone. And it's like amazing. It's like, wow, we all have something in common. I can talk to anyone.
Right.
And when you start setting your boundaries, and you start setting the way you look at life, and you start moving in positivity, it gets difficult, because sometimes you do get tired and you really want to go negative. And people see that you're positive, they try to drain you.
Oh, of course.
Yes. They want to dump their problems on you. And it's like,
yes,
you're feeling their energies, like, and then they don't want to listen to what's like, you tell them what to do. And they're like, I just don't think I'm going to go back to him. I'm going to do this. And it's like, don't come to my house no more, you idiot. I didn't dismiss the person. I didn't.
No.
I just told, come back when you're ready to leave.
When you're ready
to help you.
I will help you.
Because right now, me and you're not the same energy.
We're not.
You're not going to suck the life out of me.
Especially when you're relating to people, friends, family, whoever, when you're trying to help them with a situation, it's always important to plant seeds and let them grow. So if you plant a seed with them and said, hey, this is what I think. However, you still have to make the decision. Let the seed grow with them. Whether it grows or not, it's totally up to them. But at least you plant the seed of care. I'm here for you, and here's what I'm advising. Not telling you what's a big difference. I'm just advising you based on what I'm seeing from outside in. Wrapping up, I just wanted to touch on, all the poem is so expressive and informative, and a part of something that I came across was, what are your thoughts about men not being mainstream to express emotions? Because with these poems, it's so expressive and it's very emotional entwined. All emotions are covered, and coming from a strong Black man, what is your take on that? Because our society, as you know, doesn't allow us. What would you say? What do you want to put out there to kind of say, make it okay?
I really feel like I was set up to fail by saying, oh, men don't cry.
Right.
Don't show your feelings. Be tough, be hard. Yeah, that's all true and stuff. But damn it, I need to release this shit.
Yes.
Somewhere, somehow, I need to let this go. So guess what? I need an outlet. You cannot hold everything in. And as coming up from Brownsville, you didn't show your emotions. You didn't show people that you cried, because you'll get jumped. You'll get beaten. You're considered a punk. You're considered weak. So a lot of that stuff from childhood contribute to a lot of anger issues that I started. It's like, now where's all this coming from? Why are you so angry? Like, what is wrong? And it's like, it's deeply rooted. So I feel like a man is a man, but be man enough to tell somebody how you feel.
Right.
You don't have to cry and act belligerent and have a temper tantrum, but you need to be able to learn how to express yourself. Because when you know how to express yourself and you know your emotions, you won't have no temper tantrum. You're not being belligerent. You don't have to use curse words. You don't have to get loud. You don't even have to get mad.
Right.
It's a simple thing as, Kevin, what you just said to me hurt my feelings.
Yes. Doesn't feel good.
Once I said that, your reaction dictates my action.
Next action, yes. That's important.
So when you dismiss me, you don't care.
Right.
Now, maybe you go for a couple two because I just hit you with a blow. You hurt my feelings, and now you go, I just thought about it. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings when I did X, Y, and Z. Don't generalize my feelings.
Yes.
You hurt me in public. You need to say, I'm sorry that I said this. What you said in front of people or whatever. Don't generalize me. When people treat you like an option, you treat them like a subject.
We know who we are. We're males, but we all have emotions. That's the common thing. Male and females, we all have these emotions, and you can express them, and it is okay. That's so poignant. With all of this, well, you told me what your next step was because you're going to do the other books. So we're anticipating the next books right now.
We had Resilience. I just did a short film for Resilience and won a few awards in the film festival. So my next thing I'm doing is On Purpose, and I'm writing a play. Well, the play is already written, and I'm doing a feature film for On Purpose. And I can't wait because what I wrote is not how the play or the movie is going to be. That's the next thing that's On Purpose. So with my poetry, you could pretty much say there's going to be the movie or play with them as much as I can. This is not something that I just put together and say, hey, I want you to whatever. I'm going to actually put my thoughts and part of what I was feeling at the moment inside a play. So it's like you could see it on screen.
How significant you think words are and us choosing to use them, and what words we should use continuously and what words we should avoid using when communicating with each other.
You should never use words that's going to degrade you or devalue you as a person. You should never talk negative about yourself. Anything putting you down, never put yourself in a place where you're using negativity, and never let nobody put you down or use negative words. Correct them then. Don't go back like, oh, you heard what he said? You heard what she said? No, correct them now. That way you're not taking it back with you, and that's what it would never happen again. Because when you correct people on the spot,
yes,
they'd be like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Don't use that word. I don't like it.
Got you. So yes, people, this is the book. If you don't got it already, get it.
We have a little bit time left, and I'm probably going to split this up. So let's get into you. Tell us more about your program.
So I work for a nonprofit that works with at-risk youth. That means youth that were either neglected or abused, or in homes that the caretakers are unable to take care of them, or homeless youth that are between ages of 18 to 21 that can't fend for themselves. They need assistance learning how to be productive members of society. That is my job. That's what I do. I teach them how to be self-sufficient, navigate this world as 18-year-olds to 21-year-olds, and teach them the basic necessities of life, how to cook, clean, manage relationships, beginning, ending relationships, open bank accounts, establish it, get driver's license. So all the functions that you need, basic functions, is what I teach to youth 18 to 21.
How many people do you house?
I have capacity to house 6 youth. At any given time, I have 4 or 5. They share apartments to an apartment. At the end of their time here at the program, which is 21, we locate housing for them, permanent housing in the community, or they go on to the Army, the Navy. But at the end of the day, ensuring that when they leave here at 21, they are ready for the outside world. They're prepared to be independent on their own and not having to depend on mom, dad, or anyone else, but just work with the system as productive members. That's the function of the program.
What has been your toughest challenge?
The toughest has been youth that find it hard to trust that you are here to help them. And it's not a bad thing, because this is defense mechanisms that they have developed due to the experiences they've had. So me being the professional, I understand what that is. So when I see that, I know what it is, even though it's challenging and it's tough at times, because you have to deal with them calling you out your name and or trying to hurt you, like physically. But because you know the territory you're in and you understand what it is, and this is through the experience that I've had and learning each kid and also trainings. So I've been educated on all this stuff. So you see these things coming and you understand what they are. So when they do come, you're already prepared for them. So that has been the biggest challenge, is dealing with youth that their defense mechanism is so strong that they don't realize that they're actually blocking their path to success. That has been the biggest challenge with any of the youth that I've had challenges with, because most of the youth we've had successes with, because once they get to my program or any of our programs, they understand that we're here to help them transition to the next step, next level in their life. And they need this. They need to learn this in a safe space, which is what we provide at the program. So absolutely, that's one of the challenge there.
This has been another episode of Found Purpose. Remember, your spirit is never too broken, shattered, or damaged where it can't be fixed. Put God first and everything is fixable. Let's start healing in the spirit.